In a galaxy far away, many different kinds of beings lived among the stars. They traveled in great ships and shared stories of their worlds. Some were tall and slender, while others were short and round. Each race had its own language and customs, but one thing united them all: the Alien Council. The Alien Council was a special group made up of leaders from various races. They met in a grand hall on the planet Vyloria. The hall was filled with bright lights that changed colors, creating a beautiful atmosphere. Tall windows showed the endless stars outside. This was a place for important decisions. Today, the council gathered for a big reason. They had been watching the humans on Earth. For many years, humans had sent ships into space, exploring new worlds and making discoveries. At first, the council thought this was wonderful. They admired the human spirit of adventure. But soon, they grew worried. Some humans were aggressive. They told stories of battles and glory, and they wanted to show their strength to the galaxy. The council feared that if humans continued to explore, they might encounter other races and create conflict. If humans saw an alien ship, they might attack first, thinking it was a threat. The council did not want war. They wanted peace. The wise leader of the council, an elder named Zarth, spoke up. Zarth had seen many things in his long life. He had met many races and knew the importance of understanding. "We must send a message to Earth," he said, his voice calm and steady. "We should invite them to talk. If we show them we want peace, they might listen." The other leaders nodded in agreement. They knew Zarth was right. They quickly began to draft a message. It had to be clear and kind. They wanted to tell humans that they were not enemies and that they could work together for a better future. As they wrote, Zarth thought about the humans. He remembered a time when his own race had been young and reckless. They had fought among themselves until they learned the value of peace. He hoped that humans could learn this too. Once the message was ready, the council sent it through the stars. They used a powerful device that could reach Earth almost instantly. As the message traveled, Zarth and the council waited anxiously. Would the humans understand? Would they reply with kindness or anger? Meanwhile, on Earth, the message reached the president. She was a strong and brave woman named Alina. She had led her people through tough times, and they respected her. But when she received the message from the aliens, she was unsure what to think. Alina called a meeting with her advisors. In a large room filled with maps and screens, they gathered around a table. She read the message aloud, and everyone listened closely. Some advisors believed the aliens were sincere, while others were skeptical. One advisor, a young man named Jake, stood up. "We should respond with caution," he warned. "What if this is a trick? We have no idea who they are or what they want." Alina nodded, taking in his words. "I understand your fear, but we cannot jump to conclusions," she said. "We must consider the possibility of friendship. If we respond with hostility, we may miss an opportunity for peace." The room fell silent as everyone thought about her words. The tension was palpable. After a moment, Alina made her decision. "I will send a reply. We will show them we want to talk, but we will also prepare for anything. We cannot ignore the risks." With that, she began to write a response. She expressed hope for peace and invited the aliens to visit Earth for a face-to-face meeting. As she signed her name, she felt a mix of excitement and fear. Would the aliens come? And if they did, what would happen next? In the grand hall of the Alien Council, Zarth and the other leaders received the reply. It was filled with hope, but also caution. They felt encouraged, but knew the road ahead would not be easy. Both sides were ready to meet, but they were also aware of the challenges that lay ahead. The message reaches Earth. On a bright morning on Earth, people were going about their daily lives. In cities filled with busy streets, cars honked, and children laughed as they played. But in the center of power, at the government building, something important was happening. President Alina sat at her large desk, surrounded by her closest advisors. The room was filled with excitement and tension. They had just received a message from the Alien Council, and everyone wanted to hear what it said. Elena opened the message with her heart racing, and she read the words aloud. To the people of Earth, it began. We are the Alien Council from the planet Vyloria. We come in peace and wish to talk about our future together. Let us join hands and build a better world. As Elena read the message, some advisors nodded with hope, while others looked worried. The head of security, a tough man named General Roberts, crossed his arms. This could be a trick, Madam President. We need to be careful. What if they want to invade us? Elena considered his words. I understand your concerns, General, but we cannot ignore their desire for peace. If we respond with fear, we might lose this chance for understanding. Jake, the young advisor who had spoken up in the previous meeting, looked at the president. I think we should send a reply that shows we are open to talking, but also ready to defend ourselves if necessary. It's important to show strength without appearing hostile. After much discussion, Elena decided to send a message of her own. She wanted to express both hope and caution. They quickly wrote a reply, inviting the aliens to visit Earth and talk in person. With a firm hand, she signed her name, feeling both excitement and apprehension about what would come next. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, Zarth and the Alien Council awaited their response. They had gathered again in their grand hall, filled with anticipation. Zarth paced back and forth, his multiple eyes focused on the stars outside the window. I hope they understand our intentions, he said, his voice filled with concern. If they respond with anger, we may face a great conflict. The other leaders agreed, feeling the weight of the moment. They knew that the fate of both races rested on the reply from Earth. At last, a glowing screen flickered to life, showing their message back from the humans. Zarth read the reply aloud to the council. We are pleased to hear from you. We would like to meet and discuss our future together. The room filled with a mix of cheers and nervous whispers. This is good, one leader said. They are willing to talk. Yes, Zarth replied, but we must approach with caution. They still fear us. We must show them our peaceful intentions. The council agreed to send a delegation to Earth. They chose their best representatives, beings known for their wisdom and calmness. Zarth would lead the group, knowing that he had to make a strong impression. As the aliens prepared for their journey, excitement filled their hearts. They put on their finest clothing, which sparkled with colors that changed in the light. They knew this meeting was important, not just for them, but for the future of the galaxy. Back on Earth, preparations began as well. President Elena ordered her team to prepare for the alien visit. Security was tightened, and scientists were ready to learn from the aliens. Elena spoke to the nation, sharing the news of the upcoming meeting. We have a chance to make history, she said passionately. Let us welcome our visitors with open hearts. The people of Earth responded in different ways. Some were excited, believing in the possibility of friendship. Others were afraid, worrying about what could happen. Protests and celebrations filled the streets as people expressed their feelings. In the days leading up to the meeting, both sides grew more anxious. What would the aliens look like? Would they be friendly? Could they find common ground? The questions hung in the air, heavy with hope and fear. Finally, the day of the meeting arrived. The sky was clear, and a sense of anticipation filled the air. In a special location chosen for the meeting, President Elena and her team waited to greet their visitors. As the moment approached, everyone held their breath, ready for the next chapter in this incredible story. Preparing for battle. As the day of the meeting approached, tension grew on Earth. In cities filled with tall buildings and busy streets, people were anxious. They watched news reports about the incoming alien delegation. Some were excited, believing in the chance for peace, while others felt fear and anger. The question on everyone's mind was, what if this is a trap? In the government building, President Elena sat with her advisors. The room was filled with maps, plans, and military reports. General Roberts looked serious as he studied a chart of the alien ships. "Madam President," he began, "we cannot ignore the risks. We must be ready for anything. If they come with bad intentions, we need to protect our people." Alina nodded, feeling the weight of his words. "I understand, General. But we must also show them that we are willing to talk. If we act like we expect war, it may push them to attack." Jake, the young advisor, spoke up. "Perhaps we can show strength without being aggressive. We can prepare our defenses while still welcoming them. We should let the aliens know that we are ready to defend ourselves, but also hope for peace." The president thought for a moment. "You're right, Jake. We need a balance. Let's make sure our military is prepared, but we will also organize a grand welcome for the aliens. We want them to see that we are friendly but strong." As the meeting ended, Alina felt a mix of determination and fear. She knew that the world was watching, and she had to lead with courage. Meanwhile, the military began its preparations. Soldiers trained hard, practicing drills and checking their weapons. Officers reviewed their plans and made sure everyone knew what to do if trouble arose. In the days leading up to the meeting, news spread across the nation. Some people celebrated, holding parties to show their support for peace. They believed this was a moment for humanity to shine. But there were others who protested, waving signs that read, "Trust no aliens," and "Prepare for war." The divide among the people was clear, and it made the atmosphere even more charged. In the heart of the military base, soldiers lined up for an important briefing. General Roberts stood before them, his voice firm. "We are preparing for a meeting with the alien delegation. Our mission is to protect our people at all costs. If there is any sign of danger, we will respond immediately. Stay alert and follow orders." The soldiers listened intently, their faces serious. They had trained for many scenarios, but facing aliens was something new. Some felt excitement, while others were filled with dread. They knew they had to be ready for anything. Meanwhile, scientists worked around the clock, studying the alien technology they had gathered from previous encounters. They wanted to understand how the aliens traveled and communicated. They hoped to find ways to defend against any potential threats. They collaborated with engineers to develop new defenses, including advanced shields for cities and ships. In the midst of this preparation, Alina visited a local school to speak with children about the upcoming meeting. She wanted to inspire hope and courage in the next generation. "This is a time for learning," she told them. "We must show kindness to others, even when we are afraid. Remember, every great journey begins with understanding." The children listened with wide eyes, absorbing her words. They drew pictures of aliens and wrote letters of welcome, hoping to show the visitors that humanity was friendly. Alina took these drawings back to her office, feeling encouraged by their innocence and hope. As the meeting day arrived, the atmosphere was electric. Military forces were on high alert, ready for action if needed. The streets were lined with people, some cheering for peace, while others held signs demanding strength. In the government building, President Alina prepared for the meeting, her heart racing. She knew that the next few hours could change everything. As she looked out at the crowd, she realized how much was at stake. The future of humanity and the possibility of friendship hung in the balance. With determination in her eyes, she took a deep breath and headed toward the meeting room. She was ready to face the unknown, hoping that today would lead to a better tomorrow for both humans and aliens. The Alien Council's worry. On the planet Vyloria, the Alien Council sat in their grand hall, filled with worry. The lights flickered softly, casting colorful shadows on the walls. Zarth, the wise leader, paced back and forth, his multiple eyes scanning the faces of his fellow council members. They had sent their message of peace to Earth, but now they were anxious about what would happen next. "I fear we have misjudged the humans," Zarth said, his voice low. "They seem strong and prepared for war. If we do not handle this carefully, we could face great danger." A tall alien with long arms, named Farah, nodded in agreement. I have been watching their news broadcasts. They are divided, some wanting peace, while others are preparing for battle. This uncertainty could lead to misunderstanding. Another council member, Krell, who had shimmering blue skin, raised his hand. What if we are seen as threats? The humans might think we are here to invade them. We must show them our true intentions, but how? The council members exchanged glances, knowing that the answer was not easy. They all understood the weight of their decision. If they did not act wisely, their desire for peace could lead to war. Zarth took a deep breath. We need to show the humans that we come in peace. Our delegation must carry gifts to symbolize friendship. If they see that we are here with good intentions, it may calm their fears. Farah's eyes brightened. That is a good idea, Zarth. We can bring items from our culture, things that represent who we are. Perhaps art or food that they can enjoy. This will show them we want to share our worlds. The council agreed, and they began to gather items for the delegation. They chose beautiful sculptures made of shining crystals, which reflected light in stunning colors. They also prepared special food from Vyloria, known for its unique flavors. Zarth believed that these gifts would help bridge the gap between their two worlds. As they worked, worry hung in the air. Zarth thought about the stories he had heard from the galaxy. Many races had faced conflict when communication failed. He did not want the same fate for the humans and aliens. Let us remember, Zarth said, that fear can lead to quick decisions. We must be patient and allow the humans to see our true nature. They are curious beings. If we show them kindness, they may lower their defenses. Krell nodded, but a look of doubt crossed his face. What if they do not accept our gifts? What if they see them as a sign of weakness? We could lose their respect. Farah replied, if we do not try, we will never know. We must take the risk. Every great friendship starts with a chance. The council members agreed, feeling a spark of hope. They worked late into the night, carefully wrapping the gifts and preparing their messages. Zarth felt a sense of responsibility. He wanted to make a good impression and show that the aliens were more than just distant beings from another planet. They were explorers, just like humans. As the day of the meeting drew closer, Zarth gathered the delegation for a final briefing. The chosen aliens included Farah, Krell, and others known for their wisdom and kindness. They stood together, ready to make history. Remember, Zarth said to the group, we are not just representing ourselves. We are representing all of Vyloria. Our goal is to show the humans that we wish to learn and grow together. Let us go forward with open hearts. The delegation nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. They knew they were stepping into the unknown, but they also believed in the power of peace. As they prepared to leave for Earth, Zarth felt a wave of determination wash over him. He believed in the possibility of friendship, and he hoped that the humans would feel the same way. Together, we will create a new beginning, he said softly to himself. With that thought in mind, the delegation boarded their ship, ready to embark on a journey that could change the fate of both their worlds. A risky arrival. The day had finally arrived. On Earth, the sun shone brightly, but tension filled the air. President Alina stood at a large window in her office, looking out at the crowd gathered for the meeting. People filled the streets, some cheering in excitement, while others waved signs of warning. She knew that the fate of her planet rested on this moment. Meanwhile, aboard the alien ship, Zarth and his delegation prepared for their landing. The sleek, shimmering vessel glided through space, making its way toward Earth. Zarth felt a mix of hope and fear. He understood the humans were nervous, but he also believed in their ability to choose peace. We must show them who we are, he told his team. We come in peace and wish to learn from them. As they approached the atmosphere, the ship shook slightly. Farah, a member of the delegation, looked at Zarth. What if they see us as a threat? We know they are preparing for battle. Zarth nodded, feeling the weight of her words. That is why we must be careful. We will communicate openly as we land. Let them know our intentions immediately. The ship entered Earth's atmosphere, leaving a trail of bright light behind it. Below, people looked up in awe and fear. News cameras captured every moment as the ship descended. Some people pointed and gasped, while others ran for cover. "It's an alien invasion," one person shouted, and panic spread through the crowd. In the government building, President Elena felt her heart race as she watched the ship on her screen. "This is it," she whispered to herself. She had to remind her people to stay calm. "We must show strength and welcome them," she thought. She stepped up to the microphone, addressing the nation. "Citizens of Earth, remember that this is a moment of peace. Let us not act out of fear." Back on the alien ship, Zarth and his team prepared to communicate with Earth's leaders. "We need to send a message right now," he said, focusing on the communication device. "Let them know we are friendly and come in peace." With a touch of a button, a beam of light shot from the ship, carrying their message. "We are the delegation from Vyloria. We wish to land peacefully and talk." The message echoed in human languages. "We bring gifts of friendship. Please do not fear us." As the ship descended closer to the ground, the crowd watched in silence, some still frightened while others were filled with curiosity. The ship landed gently on a designated landing area, surrounded by security forces ready for action. Zarth and his team stepped out of the ship, their hearts pounding. They wore their finest clothing, which shimmered with colors that shifted in the light. The sun sparkled off their smooth skin, and they stood tall, showing their readiness for peace. President Elena stepped forward, flanked by military personnel. She took a deep breath and raised her hand to signal the crowd to remain calm. "Welcome to Earth," she called out, her voice steady. "We are pleased to meet you." The alien delegation approached, and the atmosphere was tense. Zarth felt the weight of many eyes upon him. He took another deep breath, determined to show the humans that they meant no harm. "Thank you for welcoming us, President Elena," he replied, his voice calm but firm. "We come with gifts of friendship and hope." As Zarth spoke, Farah stepped forward, holding a beautiful crystal sculpture. "This represents our culture and our desire to share knowledge. We hope it brings peace between our worlds." Elena took the crystal with both hands, amazed by its beauty. "Thank you," she said sincerely. "This is a wonderful gesture." But in the crowd, some people shouted. They could be lying. The tension grew again, and Elena knew that the first moments were crucial. Zarth raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "Please, let us talk and learn from each other. We come in friendship, not in war. Together, we can create a brighter future." The crowd watched closely, their reactions mixed. Would they accept this offer of friendship? Would they choose to trust the aliens, or would fear take over? The next few moments would decide the fate of both worlds. The mistake. The atmosphere was thick with tension as President Elena and Zarth stood before the crowd. Zarth had just presented the crystal sculpture, a symbol of peace, but not everyone was convinced. Some in the crowd shouted angry words, while others looked on with curiosity. Elena felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. "Let us listen to each other," Elena called out, trying to calm the crowd. "This is a time for understanding, not fear." But the anxiety in the air was palpable. As the crowd buzzed with whispers, a loud bang suddenly shattered the moment. A small group of protesters, hiding behind a nearby building, threw rocks and shouted accusations. "They're here to take our planet. We won't let them," one shouted. The crowd gasped, and chaos erupted. People began to panic, some running away while others pushed forward, trying to get a better view. Elena's heart raced. "No, this cannot happen," she thought. Zarth looked alarmed. "We must show them we mean no harm." He raised his hands again, his voice steady. "Please, do not be afraid. We are here to talk." But the rocks kept flying, and then came the sound of sirens. General Roberts stepped forward, his voice commanding. "Secure the area. We must protect the delegation." He ordered his soldiers to form a barrier around Zarth and Elena, ready to respond to any further threats. The noise grew louder as more people shouted, "Get away from them!" One protester yelled, believing that the aliens were dangerous. "They are not our friends." In the chaos, a young soldier, nervous and unsure, saw a rock heading toward Zarth. Thinking quickly, he moved forward to protect the alien leader. "Get back!" he shouted, raising his weapon. His actions startled everyone, including Zarth. The sight of the soldier with his weapon caused fear to ripple through the crowd. "See, they're attacking!" Someone cried out, pointing at the soldier. The atmosphere turned electric, and people began to scream and run in all directions. Zarth felt a surge of worry. "This is not what we wanted," he thought. He understood that this mistake could ruin everything. "We need to calm them down." Suddenly, Zarth stepped forward, ignoring the chaos around him. He lowered himself to the ground, exposing his arms in a gesture of peace. "Please, listen," he called out. "We do not wish to fight. We want to understand you." Alina saw what Zarth was doing and felt hope. "Zarth is right. Let us take a moment and breathe," she said, stepping beside him. "We can find common ground." Slowly, the noise began to die down. The crowd paused, surprised by the sight of Zarth kneeling. Some people, curious despite their fear, turned to listen. "Together, we can create a future where our worlds learn from one another," Zarth continued, his voice soft but firm. "Let us put aside our fears and talk." The soldier, realizing his mistake, lowered his weapon. He looked embarrassed as he stepped back, allowing the peaceful moment to unfold. Alina saw the change in the crowd. "Please, let us talk about our hopes and dreams. We all want a safe world for our children," she urged. "Let's work together instead of fighting." Finally, the crowd began to calm down. People looked at one another, uncertain but hopeful. Zarth stood up slowly, looking around. "I understand that you are scared. We are too. But fear should not guide our actions. Together, we can find solutions." As the tension eased, Zarth and Alina took a step forward, closer to the crowd. They began to speak about their worlds, sharing stories and dreams. They talked about the importance of unity and the possibility of friendship. Gradually, people in the crowd started to cheer. They began to see that Zarth and the aliens were not enemies but potential allies. The ice was breaking, and the first steps toward understanding were being made. Zarth looked at Alina, grateful for her support. They both understood that this moment was critical. Despite the earlier mistake, they had a chance to turn fear into hope. As the crowd grew quieter, a new beginning seemed possible, a hopeful future. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, the atmosphere shifted from tension to hope. The crowd gathered around President Alina and Zarth, eager to hear more. They had witnessed the moment of chaos, but now they saw something different, a chance for peace. Zarth took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the sun on his skin. "Thank you for giving us this moment," he said, his voice calm and steady. "We are grateful for your kindness." He looked into the faces of the humans, noticing their curiosity replacing their fear. Alina smiled, encouraged by the change in the crowd. "Today, we took a step together. We faced fear and confusion, but now we have the chance to build something great. We can create a future where both our worlds can learn from each other," she declared. A young girl in the front row stepped forward, clutching the crystal sculpture Zarth had given earlier. "Will you stay with us?" she asked, her eyes wide with hope. "I want to learn about your planet and your people." Zarth knelt down, looking into her bright eyes. "We would love to share our world with you," he replied warmly. "We have many things to teach and many things to learn." The crowd erupted in applause, a wave of excitement spreading through them. The earlier fear faded away, replaced by curiosity and hope for the future. People began to shout questions, wanting to know more about Vyloria and its people. "What do you eat?" a man called out. "What games do you play?" another asked. Zarth laughed gently, enjoying their eagerness. We have many foods. Some are sweet, and some are spicy. We play games that involve teamwork and strategy, much like your own. Alina saw the energy of the crowd and realized that this moment was turning into something special. "Let us celebrate this day," she said. "We can have a festival where we share our cultures, food, music, and stories. Together, we can build bridges between our worlds." The crowd cheered at the idea, feeling a sense of unity growing among them. People began to discuss how they could prepare for the festival. "Let's show the aliens our best dishes," one woman suggested, "and let them show us their traditions." In the coming weeks, the preparations for the festival began. Humans and aliens worked side by side, creating a beautiful space filled with colorful decorations. Each group brought their unique touch, blending their cultures in exciting ways. Zarth and his team shared their customs, teaching the humans about their dances and songs. The humans taught the aliens about Earth's music and how to cook traditional dishes. They laughed together, sharing stories and experiences that connected them. On the day of the festival, the atmosphere was filled with joy. Colorful lights decorated the area, and tables overflowed with food from both worlds. People from all backgrounds gathered, excited to celebrate their new friendship. As the sun set, casting a golden glow, Alina and Zarth stood together on a stage, looking at the crowd. "Today is a testament to what we can achieve together," Alina said, her voice filled with pride. "We chose understanding over fear, and today we celebrate that choice." Zarth nodded, his eyes shining. "Let this festival be a symbol of our friendship. We will face challenges together, but with respect and cooperation, we can build a brighter future." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices mingling in a beautiful harmony. Music filled the air as humans and aliens danced together, their hearts united. As the night wore on, laughter and joy echoed through the streets. People shared stories, food, and hopes for the future. Zarth felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before. He realized that this was the true power of connection, the ability to bring people together, regardless of their differences. With every passing moment, the bond between Earth and Vyloria grew stronger. Zarth knew that this was just the beginning. They had taken the first step toward a hopeful future, and together they could achieve anything. As the stars twinkled above, Zarth looked at Alina, grateful for her leadership and courage. "We have done well," he said softly, knowing that their journey together was far from over. "Indeed," Alina replied, a smile spreading across her face, "and the best is yet to come."